Hello, Scorpio. Welcome. Take a seat and relax. There's nothing you need to do in this present moment except to relax and enjoy your reading. And to start your reading off, Scorpio, we have card number 13. Use the surge of fear and adrenaline to sharpen your decision making. The fire is shooting at you. Now use the surge of fear and adrenaline to sharpen your decision making. The wonderful thing about stress is that it turns coal into diamonds. It turns regular energy and turns it into strong-willed energy. Use the stress of your situation as a spark to turn yourself into who you want to be. See fear for what it is, a tool. Ask yourself what this fear is trying to tell you. Ask yourself where this fear wants you to go. Ask yourself how this stress is trying to help. Interesting. We have two people sitting on a throne looking right towards us. So it's those questions that I asked are staring at you right in the face. And King of Swords, the mind, your thoughts are right on the Hierophant. This is something new that we're learning, something new where we want to go, and we have to trust the King of Swords. I almost want to tell the King of Swords to trust and where they're going, to trust in where your mind wants you to go, to trust in your mind during these situations. I don't know. This feels like it's going to be moment to moment. This feels like a riddle. You're trying to solve a riddle. Okay, Scorpio, what's going on here? Because the Hierophant, this feels like we're learning something, but in a fun way. And the King of Swords is all about logic, right? The king has his patterns. The king, look at, he has a good hold of that sword, and the sword is of the mind, right? The thoughts. So the King of Swords can use his mind to think his way out of, being clever. He's a clever guy. He can think his way out of situations and sharpen. That's funny. With the sword. Imagine sharpening your sword. Interesting. Imagine sharpening your mind. How do you sharpen your mind? So like when you play chess, I don't know if any of you play chess, but how to get better at chess? By doing puzzles. It's like sharpening your mind. That's you like literally sharpening the sword. It's if you keep doing puzzles over and over again, that's the sharpening. So you're putting yourself into problems and then solving them. So that's how you're sharpening your mind. Interesting. So fear and adrenaline. There is a problem here, and you just have to solve it. So instead of focusing on the problem, focus on, hey, this is a problem I can solve. Just like you running into chess puzzles. Imagine sulking and saying, "Oh no, there is a move here I have to make. There's a problem. There's a situation. I can win." I don't know. Now I'm just gonna keep going. The Master and Flowering. Wow. Interesting, similar energies again, because they're both kind of looking they're both faced that way, but they're both still facing forward. And these, they're just so pointing straight forward. Now there's a left and then forward. So they're facing the same way Dwight is, which is interesting. They're facing the same way towards this Hierophant and King of Swords. So it looks like these are the ones these are both teaching us something here, and that's what problems are for, right? Same like in school, teachers teach us by giving us problems and then us solving them. So this feels like the universe, yourself, both people of these look like these are literally teachers. They're sitting up there, and look at, there's you. You're not alone. You're not the only student. You're not the only one going through this, Scorpio. But you put yourself in this situation, right? Because you wanted to learn something. And so, but it seems like we're focusing on the problem instead of focusing on right? We're in this problem because we are trying to figure out, us figuring out how to solve it is something that we've been wanting to learn, right? So that master, that's you at the end, right? Hey, you mastered the subject, you mastered the problems, you mastered sharpening your sword, sharpening your mind, putting yourself into fear and adrenaline situations, and it sharpened your mind, and you became a master. You don't even need that sword anymore. That's how good you are with it. You are the sword now. And flowering, look at that. That's cool. That's you and your power still. Look at that. This feels like masculine and feminine energy combining, right? And this is both you now. So the last step was this sword energy, which is more of a masculine type of energy. And you don't need to, you can be either man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Masculine, we all have masculine and feminine energies within us, and we all need to master both masculine and feminine energies. That is how we become a complete human. And yeah, so some of us are more feminine than others, right? And those feminine people have a harder time with the masculine part of and it doesn't mean they need to shift all the way to the masculine, but you can learn a lot from the masculine, right? Same with being in the masculine side of things, right? And you have harder times with the feminine things, and you see it in a way. But every person on this masculine side can learn a lot from the feminine side. And again, it doesn't mean you have to shift yourself all the way over to the feminine, but pick up and use traits from the feminine, get to understand and know the feminine as well, because we are all both. We are all your mother and father, right? That's just that's a easy way to say it. You are both your mother and your father, right? We are both the masculine and feminine side, right? But they both created you, right? So you are both. So we got to learn both to be a full human, right? If you are just on one side, well, you're kind of missing the other. So we are here learning both. But see, all this makes sense, I feel. Maybe that's what you're learning. Interesting. So maybe, like I said, if you're more on the feminine side, maybe you're being put into situations to understand and learn a little bit more about the masculine. And if you're more masculine, then you're being put into situations to where you can learn a little bit more about the feminine and get to know a little bit more about the feminine, so that you're more of a complete human, right? That's the wish. That's the star paired with the Prince of Cups. The Prince is the Knight in this deck. So the Prince of Cups. It almost feels like there's a wish here at the end that is being blessed upon you. This literally feels like a game, like you putting yourself into different levels, and then you master them, and then you get good at this game, and then there's a goal at the end. There's a reward at the end. There's a prize at the end. There's a star. There's a wish at the end. And maybe this wish is to embody this Prince of Cups. I don't know. Maybe it's a Prince of Cups of your own. I don't know. Whatever it is, there's a reward. Nice at the end, but the reward was mostly all of these useful tools that we learned. All this masculine, all this feminine, becoming a master of your own self. That's a huge reward in it of itself. Maybe that's the reward that's happening here at the end. Right, you embody there. Let's read about the Prince of Cups. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, there's a. Okay, Prince of Cups. We said. This is the heir of water. The moral characteristics of the person pictured in this card are subtlety, secret violence, and craft. He is intensely secret, an artist in all his ways. He is in perfectly ruthless. Harris's Prince of Cups makes a spectacular entrance by bursting straight at us from a crashing wave, his chariot drawn by an enormous black eagle. His left hand grasps a cup, out of which rises a coiled snake. In his right hand, he holds an enormous lotus blossom. I have to believe that Crowley had an unpleasant experience with the Prince of Cups. If everyone born between October 13th and November 12th manifested all the dark and chilling qualities Crowley describes to this card, then 1/12 of the population of the planet would be melodrama villains. That's so funny. That's literally in the book. Well, that may have been true of Prince of Cups Lee Harvey Oswald and Leon Trotsky. There is still great strength and potential in this card. Libra passing over to Scorpio is a very strong moment, but the active characteristics of air and the passive environment of water makes an uneasy combination, like foaming bubbles exploding from an underchilled bottle of champagne. See, but we're learning that opposites together can create something extremely beautiful, can create something dope, right? A mother and father, those are the two opposites, create something dope, like you, Scorpio. So in this situation, air and water are combining to create something dope. So it says, right, these two elements do not care if they run the party or the furniture. They just want to get out and away from each other. But in this case, they're creating something dope. So, see, some Prince of Cups are Martin Luther, Oscar Wilde, Frederick Nietzsche, Timothy Leary, and Pablo Picasso. So we have two things here that are combining to create something dope. All right, a wish. Okay, cool. I hope you can hear that helicopter. Helicopters are dope. A lot of things came together to create dope helicopters. I don't know, man. All right. One, hug it out. Hug it out. A surge of fear and adrenaline. Hug it out instead of the problem. Okay, so this is like being upset that you were placed into this situation, this problem situation, right? Of course, you would be upset at the person who put you in that type of situation. But then you figure out, hey, that person was actually me that put myself in that type of situation. But it wasn't to hurt myself. It was so that I could figure a way out and to learn this new thing, right? To sharpen my decision making, to sharpen my sword, sharpen my mind. This was just me teaching myself something by giving myself a problem, right? Just like in school. Right? It's not like, it's like the teacher giving you problems and it's something horrible. No, she's just giving you problems that you can solve to learn. Right? So it's the same with the universe in this situation. And yourself, there's the teacher here that's still you, though, and you're giving yourself problems so that you can solve. So hug it out. Interesting. Paired with 18. Yeah. So this isn't all going to happen in a flash, right? This is going to take time because we are learning. We are, so it's not, this isn't like you take one read through and bam, you have the information stored in your brain forever and you can take whatever test and you can put the information down. No, we are taking this, separating things, taking these bit by bit because it's something we want to learn. So it's okay if it takes a while, right? This is today about being today. So here, it seems like if you have patience, it means that you are still waiting for something that is not happening. So go one step further and let go of that patience. People in the present need no patience because they are completely here today. They do not wait for anything as there is nothing to wait for. Today is already here. Everything that is happening is supposed to be happening. So it's like we keep giving ourselves these problems and we already want to be able to solve them and just in a flash. But I mean, that's not how we won't learn anything that way. We gotta go step by step. This is like math, right? Imagine having an equation you have to solve and just find x, right? And then you just find it just like that. No, well, it's not gonna work that way. You're gonna have to go step by step, to be able to get to x, right? To be able to get to your solution and then to be able to understand it. So yeah, I think you got this, Scorpio. You got this. There's literally nothing bad going on here. It's just you training yourself, right? How do people train, right? Like in Dragon Ball, they put themselves into tense situations. That's how they get stronger. So that's all you're doing here, Scorpio. And especially out of all the people, you're the one that that can most handle these type of situations, because you are the ones that can see the problems very clearly and can point them out very clearly, and they're good at that. So, you know, the good thing about people who can see the problems very clearly is that they might be able the ones to find the solution, right? Because people who can't even see the problem aren't going to be able to find the solution. They can't even see the problem. But, or if they don't know where, you know, it's like if you are trying to clean your room, well, you got to see the dirt. You got to know where the dirt is so that you are able to clean it, right? And have a clean room. So that's all this is the dirt being shown where it is, and you being able to identify it, and then you being able to clean it. And I mean, that's what you do, Scorpio, right? And then, but there's a reward here, right? Holly, there's a wish. All right, I really hope this reading helped. If it did help, please help me as well by leaving a like, leaving a comment, and subscribing if you would like to keep hanging out, as this is a safe place where we try to figure life out together. So thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.